Hello and welcome to yet another episode of My Intensify Personality. Intensify your personality. Now, it's a talk show, so why this Intensify your personality? Because it's my mission to help college students and freshers secure their job by building their personality. Great. So, here on this platform, I used to invite personality, business leader, industry expert from various domains who can share their knowledge, experience, challenges, failures, and success, which can help college students bring inspiration, clarity, and give direction, and of course, build their personality great. I'm thrilled to invite, I'm thrilled to have my guest, someone who is very special to me, someone who is close to me. I have been inspired by his strong characters and deep, insightful analysis in every opinion. He not only creates a space but also adds lot of value to the people around. Today, to take to talk on the topic Home Holistic, a new approach to intensify your personality, we have an amazing personality, Mr. Pradeep Ramachandran, with us. If I talk about the background of Pradeep Ramachandran ji, he is an author, founder of Home Holistic Ways of Living and Awesome Living. He is a seasoned global professional who has aggregated his overall life experiences and learnings, both professional and personal, into these fundamental life skills for awesome living skills we wished have been taught in the school. After a successful academic life, and taking his professional degrees BTech in electrical engineering at the reputed College of Engineering Trivandrum. He built a cross-industry and multi-domain careers of 30 plus years of working in various reputed multinationals such as HCL, Olivetti, IBM, Bank of America, Philips, and Shells, done various global lead roles in the areas of manufacturing, supply chain, operations, business excellence, and IT. His functional domains covers rich experiential learning in supply chain fulfillment, IT governance, risk and control, compliance, ISO standardization, information security, program project management, supplier management, and several other across industry. Needless to say, his vast engagement, thousands of hours spanning functional skills and soft skills across numerous growth and development across areas in mentoring and grooming individuals in various roles, building teams and team collaboration and life skills have been a path changer to several. As the founder of Home Holistic, which he describes as a movement, he now shares his learning from his vast professional and personal life experiences to enable wholesome living suited to the times and set the stage for foundational life skill for the next generation, right from formative years of children. Mr. Pradeep Ramachandran ji, welcome to the show. I'm very glad that you are here with us online.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Naresh, for that very kind introduction. I really, like this opportunity to be with you and share the platform. It has been always good connecting with you and knowing your deep passion for developing personality. And I think it's just maybe not just coincidence, but something that makes us connect on something that is a very exciting topic for me, and to which I think this conversation led to, and said, okay, how does Home Holistic is going to help with personality development? So it was a good conversation, and I'm happy to uh, be sharing this platform to have a good conversation with you today, and to all the you, and hello to all the viewers as well who is on this show.
Thank you so much. With gratitude. So, Pradeep Ramachandra ji, Mr. Ramachandra ji, to start off, we'll start down the question. It's like a question answer sessions. So, Ramachandran ji, can you take us a on little bit back on the past? How did you get started in your career? Basically, I wanted to know three things actually, three stages. Your early, like your early stage, in between how you started with the career and how you reach your apex of your career, the zenith of your career, because you have worked in various MNCs like Bank of America, Philips, Shells, IBM. These are like huge, like giants. So could you put a light on these areas, please?
Okay, so if I understand you right, you want me to talk a bit about my career, or would you want to go from even 2 steps backwards? Maybe I'll start with a little bit with the beginning. Okay, so yeah, you know me, and people know me a bit more. So I my childhood was maybe a smooth takeoff. I Yeah, I was given some. I was given a good start thanks to doting parents who really cared for me, and it's born in a village. But then my entire early primary childhood was in Kolkata. I think it might be just interesting to know. Uh, yeah, my first few days when I did my kindergarten, actually, I was right up with the security guards in their room, enjoying my tiffin that my mother had packed for me. So that was my start to academics, I should say. Yeah. But 2 days later, I still remember, yeah, the teacher coming and just carrying me into class, and me, of course, crying out. So this is where my journey started, I should say. Okay. Then, of course, my dad was particular that I got a good education in a good school, and I was fortunate to be part of student in St. Xavier's Collegiate School in Kolkata in early years. And thereafter, I moved to Trivandrum because my dad had to come down, and yeah, I joined a public school. So central government, Kendriya Vidyalaya Patam in Trivandrum, and obviously a sea change in the way the culture was in the way between a public school versus a missionary run school in terms of many things. But it was good learning. That school was really a good foundation for me to go further from what I took off in Kolkata.
In which year it was? Uh,
This was way back, I think. Yeah, I think it was 72.
okay,
Okay.
72.
Yeah.
Wow. At this time, like getting an education is very important. Many people drop off, and that's why the literacy rose very high actually. So very fortunate, by the way.
Yeah,
So
so I had a good. I think some of the best formative habits was given by my mother in terms of approach to school and studies. That was just to listen to the class carefully, what the teacher said. Of course, came with being a very obedient student. So I wasn't one of those adventurous kinds inside the classroom. I just, followed what the teachers used to say, and that was good enough for me. I always was among either a topper in my early years or at least in the top three, just following what was in the class, listening to what the teachers said. And I had plenty of time in the evening to play because my work was done within 1 hour from coming from school, usually. So that was it. And people used to envy me many times, saying, okay, what am I doing? But the best thing is, the secret was I was just attentive in class, and the teachers were fabulous. And that was good enough for me for whatever good reasons, I should say. So it worked for me. And all this got disrupted as I grew further into higher studies, because you start becoming less dependent, perhaps, on what is done on the classroom. So when I went to my college days for my +2, I realized that I'm never going to get an admission to engineering, which is what my aspiration was. It was not driven by society or my parental pressures. It was my own choice that I wanted to be an engineer. I initially wanted to be a scientist, then I wanted to be an engineer. Then I had to go and redo all my exams for the first and second year subjects to really get into a top spot of around 95%, which would be make me eligible to an admission in engineering college. Now that is not so high, by the by. Huh? There were people with 99%, 99.7, because everything was just purely based on your science subjects and math subject marks that you score. A very different kind of academic. You just had to be what I call mark centered rather than knowledge centered, I should say. Okay. So yeah, we were just part of that stream of doing things just like everybody does, going for tuitions, mastering it and all. Anyway, all things said and done, what I wanted to bring out was the difference between, where you rely in class versus when you start on your own, building that difference in the way you manage your academics. And what do you get? Most often it is what is given to you, right? There is hardly something that you have studied on your own. To me, I was lucky in my early days because I used to do a lot of reading. A lot of books used to come my way. My dad used to give me a lot of books, and so yeah, I did some level of good knowledge building in the process at that point. I did my electrical engineering, completed it in way back in 1986. I did my BTech there, and then I was on the road soon because in those days we never had all these social media platforms. We didn't have job portals. We didn't have career counseling. We had none of those things, and there weren't as much as opportunities as we had today. And so it was going to be a challenge. So real challenge number one came at that point in life, in my life. First one, how to find a job, how to get a career. And the only way we could do and then was to work the newspapers, look at what are the jobs posted there. Very often it came from public sector companies, very few private companies. So we used to rely on the NTPCs or maybe the BHEL or the HMT or the ISROs to send out some ad saying we need some trainees, and then go do their test, travel anywhere, be ready to take any job anywhere, in the country, and then you will land something. It took almost a year, but let me say my first job therefore was being a teacher. Would you believe it? Yeah, I started teaching science, maths for higher secondary and plus two students, and electrical engineering for engineering graduates in the same tutorial that I did my tuitions. So that is how my career started for the first 7, 8, 9 months, I think. I also had another parallel career, I should say. I call it career today because now I value it. At that time, I was just doing some work. I had to build, I was the person who had to make sure that, the home was built. So my dad was abroad, and I had to take responsibility to build the entire home for my dad and my mom and for us to stay. So it came off just around my graduation period. So I had to build it. Yeah. So maybe I got some skills out there doing those kind of work, supervising, knowing how to build a home, construction, material purchase, getting it done, oversight capabilities. All those things came in a little bit with that engineering background of mine as well. After that, after about 12 months, I landed up with a job. I got two offers at the same time. One offer, interestingly, came just by singing, I must say, because they just looked at my resume and knew that I had no industry experience. So what to ask? Eventually, they found a line at the end of my thing, apart from my project. They asked me 2, 3 lines about my project. And then they said, oh, this guy sings. Okay, do you really sing? I said, yeah, I do sing. Okay, why don't you sing 4 lines for me? And I just sang 4 lines at that time, and wondering whether I should sing. Were they joking? Were they pulling my leg? I really don't know. But they seriously insisted 3 times. And then I said, okay, then I shouldn't shy away. And then I sang. And at the end of it, I got a job, and it was funny. So I was thinking, did I get it because of my merit, or did I just get it because of goodwill of that company to start giving me a trainee job, really? So either ways, or for entertaining them. Whichever way, I didn't choose that job, though, interestingly. I got a job in North Kerala in a company which was very formative, which was just going to produce floppy diskettes. And when I joined, I joined as a quality control engineer. That's what they joined. But know what? My first day in the job was a site which was under construction. So the executive director of that company, a retired air marshal, took me there and said, Pradeep, this is the place you have to work. Start working. I said, what am I supposed to do? I didn't know. He said, there's a lot of work going on in terms of civil constructions, pneumatic equipments installation, the air conditioners, whatever, the compressors. Just watch and learn. These guys know more practical things than you ever learned in college.
Very true.
Okay, so you watch them and ask them. Don't ask me, ask them, and learn what they are doing. Okay, and help me with a little bit of oversight. Tell me what happens every day there. Is the work is making progress or not? So it was a incremental step to knowing a project management. if you ask me. Yeah, but those names, those letters, those terms were unknown to me at that point in time. Okay, I just did what I was told. Okay, and it was in a remote location, pretty much close to Calicut University. So there was nothing else to do other than sit in the job site and enjoy. Away from home, this was my early years. And then eventually I went through the entire cycle of like any entrepreneur organization. So it was the best kind of a start in hindsight that I could think of. Because not only I learned all this, I then learned about all pneumatic and, what they call CNC based machines, computer numerical controlled stuff. Okay, so I learned about installation. I learned about how to get a factory running. I learned about marketing because I even went to different places to get their marketing manuals. Because I was the first engineer on board in that organization. Okay, and then there were a few more who came, and then there was more staff. But initially, I got this opportunity, I should say, which I never said no. I was just happy to do anything and everything because I was in that learning mindset and had nothing else to do, to be very frank. It was such a remote place. There wasn't anything I could do once I get back home. So I spent almost all my life in the factory, I should say, at that point in time. And so it gave me a lot of exposure to being an entrepreneur. Okay. And I mean, basically how to set it up, how to get things moving. Then I think so. I tell this because whenever you are in a startup phase, today we have a lot of thoughts around how your career should be. There are people who say do this, do that. Then somebody helps you to explore your best, and then you can figure out. You have lots of tools and aids today, and so you have the problem of plenty. That's the issue. Yeah, today you have a problem of plenty, and I had the problem of
Probably,
scarcity.
probably this is the difference between the past, your times, and the current, this current time. Actually, the students is getting abundance of everything actually, but they don't know how to utilize it. Perhaps,
Yeah.
right?
So my simple take on that is, yeah, if in your first job, just try to learn everything that comes your way. Today the scenario is different. They put you on to very specific, like if you're a programmer, you only do a programmer in the IT world, let's say. And so, yeah, I encountered many people because you're so siloed, you rarely get the concept of the organization or the function or what is that business until pretty much later. So it's very important to join where you get those kind of orientation, or you must ask your way through it.
So this is a learning actually for the viewers or the college student actually, that initially of their career they should focus on the learning, not on the earning actually. So initially, most importantly, learning has to be more focused. Whichever company they are working, just they need to start off. They need to kick start actually. Instead of waiting for the good opportunities, they should accept whatever opportunities coming initially. So it's a very good point actually. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the way it used to work there. Today, you have that option to consider multiple opportunities too, if you like. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Okay, by the by, I'm only saying that the learner mindset is very important in the initial formative years, and it lays a good foundation for you. Nothing like entrepreneurial organizations where you get more liberty to cut across and do many things. When you go to all these big multinationals on day one, unless you have very strong orientation that takes you, see, in olden days we used to have people having orientation going across the company in different functions. Okay, even all trainee functions are. Now I don't see that so often, from all the MNCs I've worked. Some places, yes. Some roles, yes. Like if they pick up some management trainees, they do rotate. Okay, so coming back, you asked me how my rest of the career worked.
Yeah.
Now, it's been an up and down journey for me many times initially, but I never looked at it as an up and down. I'll tell you why I don't call it up and down. It has always been an up and up journey, I should say, if you purely look at it from a learning mindset. Okay. Uh, okay. So 2.5 years, and this was important phase in my journey. That was the time I also got married. Okay, and my firm wasn't doing well in marketing. Okay, like many other companies that struggle in Kerala, by the by, because the industrial atmosphere is very different. I'm not getting into that. There are many other socio-political reasons for that. Okay, but let's say after that I had to move on because my salary was scarce. It was not coming consistently, and I was already having a family and I needed to be dependent on my financial resources only. So I was lucky to get an opportunity with HCL. It was still all paper advertisements, applying through post, no telephonic talking, just turn up at the location and hope that something happens. So I tried for a role in HCL. I didn't get what I applied for, to be honest. But before I left that interview spot, I got another. They looked at my profile. They liked some parts of it, which they thought they could leverage because I was in the floppy diskette and HCL was doing OEM manufacturing. So they gave me a vendor development job in Delhi, and I moved on there. I learned vendor development by traveling length and breadth of Delhi across so many companies who are already producing OEM equipments, qualify them, and all that, and then land up with HCL brand names for those equipments and things. So that was very another big learning job, because again it wasn't just specifically about just OEM equipment. It was all about vendor development, the entire chain of work that goes with customers, beta testing, everything. And then I got my son, my first son Anurag at that time in Delhi. And then he was a chubby guy when he was born, and he is still, I think. Okay, so we moved on from there to another opportunity that just came on the fly. It wasn't that I was looking for a role, but yes, I was not so financially comfortable living in a big city like Delhi with salary I hardly negotiated. So nominal salaries, I should say, at that point. And so I took this role more just as a leap of faith. Somebody said, okay, Modi Olivetti is coming in Rampur. Olivetti, by the by, is a giant computer manufacturer old times in Italy. So they had this collaborative venture, and I went and became joined as a QC engineer. But again, the first day in the job, I was told, oh, no, it's not QC. I think we need you to handle production. Can you do that instead of QC?
All of
Well,
a sudden.
yeah. And I had packed all my bags and just went in to stay in their colony in Rampur, which was just a small colony, again, a remote place. And I became a production engineer to start with, okay, working across different shifts. And I took that role. So, but I learned a lot about equipments, manufacturing, dealing with people, because now I had to deal with a lot of workers who were actually doing manufacturing. Okay, techies, basically, all this people who had done various technical courses and joined. And soon I found myself getting into another opportunity in a crisis. The company had a crisis. They needed somebody who understood the production planning, assembly kind of thing from the production side so that they can manage their materials correctly. I got that role, and I was asked to step in and help, and I helped. And then eventually I got that job of what is called a production planning engineer. So these were early days, and it set my foundation well into a manufacturing supply chain area. And about 2.5 years since, I got this opportunity with IBM. And in IBM, IBM was coming up with a manufacturing facility. So I had to move to Bangalore. Okay. Shall I continue, or do you have any questions at this point?
Yeah.
Any
I mean,
observations?
I think here I think the viewers can understand that how it started and how it reached the journey. Like you have been working with the other companies, like from Olivetti to probably the Bank of America, then Philips, and then it has been a very enriching career, I must say. So actually I wanted to know, you have a very, like something, a very dreamy kind of very fantasy career. Actually people only can dream of, can only dream of, most of the people in general, I say. Now what makes you like think of like another way of like impacting people, changing people's life through a holistic way? Now could you tell us that how this the different direction you have taken, this the different
Okay.
route you have taken?
Yeah. So just to complete my career path and then stepping into how home holistic comes in the way in terms of, okay, how came, should say, it comes in. Let me talk about my 2, 3 stepping stones. So I landed up in Bangalore with IBM. I took a manufacturing and a supply chain job. From supply chain, I then graduated into automation of that. From automation, I got then the opportunity to become to handle the business control, which is all about governance, risk, and compliance area. And then it went into IT infrastructure, IT applications, and so on. So you see, it's a moving job, right? In IBM, I was there for about 18 years, okay? And I moved into at least 5 or 6 different roles, all connected in some way, but different from each other. So I was learning a lot of things across organization, across globally, because IBM being a global organization, I was now connecting with a lot of people outside of Bangalore, working with people in different countries with different backgrounds and things like that. So it gave me more dimensional, multi-dimensional view around, and the soft skills part started coming in very strongly from those areas, because not only was I now doing techie trainings or functional trainings, I was soon giving blending, I should say, soft skills along with people management, training, leadership, hiring. I was doing so many things there along with this. So obviously it became very multi-dimensional. So that's the first connect. We're saying, okay, think end to end. Look at not just one piece. I was already, I mean, the way my career took off here, I was always somewhere, not too specialized only in one area, but looking at, connecting things. Supply chain is also end to end if you look at. Yeah. Now IT also became end to end of IT. Then IT and business had to be combined together along with risk and compliance. So again, it became end to end. So it is holistic. Anything you do, even an organization, has its biggest benefits when you start looking at it very holistically, because then you know what you do, how it contributes to the larger whole of the organization. Very often we do work only for a manager. Many people do work for their manager. I was told to do this, I did this, right? Now that's one way of doing a job. The other way of doing a job is, how do you connect with people? How do you network with people? How do you eventually look at it from an holistic perspective? What does the organization want? Where is my job going to contribute? Can I think like an entrepreneur and bring in initiatives for my job? Okay, if I bring those initiatives, then it starts becoming a valuable contribution for the organization in some way or the other. And when that happens, many things, the organization benefits, you also grow in the process. Yeah, because you now have to do many things, which probably, and all these things you didn't know. You just start doing it. Yeah. Just you have the right mindset and start doing it and go connect with people. Yeah. Apply your knowledge, apply other people's knowledge also, bring them all together holistically, and you start getting those kind of results. So that was the approach I took. And I did further some similar approach. I mean, around 2010, I think. Yeah, I had to move on. Yeah, I must say I faced a very, very big personal challenge at that point in time. In 2007, I lost my younger son. I had 2 children. My younger son was born when I was in Olivetti. Unfortunately, we lost him in an accident. And for me, it was almost like a standstill in life at that point in time. For me, there was no more life. Something that I was enjoying life as a family had come to a complete end, and I thought there is no more life. With my limited experience of life, I really thought there is nothing more to look forward to. This is the end. And frankly, it took quite a while, and maybe I'll connect on some of those areas, because all this have deep impact in the way where I am today and how things shaped up from there on. Okay. So yeah, I recovered, and there were many ways to recover, and medicines wasn't helping. I didn't take any medicines, but my wife was. Both of us were completely shattered. We were neglecting our first son too in the process. He was the one who was rather holding us, and it was a very difficult experience to get through. And yeah, we always feel nobody should get through it, but life is such that it throws many difficult challenges at different points in time. So I want you to know this only because it connects well with what holistic is all about eventually. Yeah, it's about life. It's not about just career. It's about 7 dimensions that we are looking at. Okay. And so, yeah, after that, I recovered. I went and worked for companies like Bank of America, Philips, and mostly I became more and more specialized into IT controls, risk, and things like that. But my soft skills side, mentoring, coaching, and training, all those things continued with all the groups that I was leading at in each of the organization. Okay.
Wow, that's a great. Yeah, it's a very thrilling journey, I would say. But I'm sorry to say that your son, younger son, is no more. Deep condolence for him. Well, these are actually the general, line path the people are facing. Somewhere or the other, they have to face this kind of incident,
Yeah.
knowingly or unknowingly, wanted, whether they want or not. But it happens in their life actually. So, Pradeep ji, I would like to continue this one because show
Okay.
is just name of moving on.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I wanted to know you described me something like in your when you started your journey, as a career. I want to just few things I wanted to mention here because our viewers are also from the college friends and all. Maybe some of them are watching here. I wanted to say that whenever they start their journey, maybe they may be facing any interviewer in their career, first interviewer, maybe the things are not set according to their plan, his plan. Maybe you are not fit to the role, or maybe something is not. Many things are missing. But if your intention is good, everything will fall on its place. When you are asked to do something, to sing a song, actually that is not a something like all of a sudden or something like they did it like intentionally or something. It was already planned actually. Still, it is followed now. Many interviewers used to ask those candidates to sing a song or to make a dance or do whatever, just to test whether the person is obedient or not, whether he follows the instruction or not. So just to test this thing is to ask in a very funny way so that the person takes it a very in a very negative way, and then if he refuses, then he loses the job. But fortunately, you did not refuse; you did follow, and then you got the job. So they just test how they are like that they follow the instruction or not. So this is the very important thing. So viewers, if you are like college students, in your interview, whatever you're asked, please do follow because that test whether you are obedient, whether you follow the instruction or not. Because job is to make things done by like making you like you have to follow the instruction there. So yeah, let's come back to this topic now. Now, Pradeep ji, I wanted to know that you have been like advocating this home holistic, an awesome living way of living actually. Now that was the backstory actually how it started. Now tell us what is this actually all about? What does it mean? Like, could you define this thing like what it is and how is it relevant at this generation in this era actually? Please.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting and very profound question for me as well as the way things come out. So, see, firstly, I want to say that, if I sum up all what I said right now, it ended up being okay, a person with fairly good knowledge, good exposure, good experience coming up the way, all that seemed to be good. So, for a career side, it looked great, all promising. My health has also been pretty steady thanks to me not developing any vices like alcohol, smoking, and all that. So maybe fortunate so far, touch wood, I have not been impacted from a health
Wow.
standpoint. Okay. And then it looks good that way. But when it comes to well balanced family life, see, I'm talking about few areas that impacted life. And that's precisely where I will come and touch your question now. Okay. So if you look at my family life, yeah, when I am in the midst of such a corporate career centric world in a corporate life, which really taxed and took away a lot of my time, and also thanks to all the Bangalore traffic and stuff like that, you spend almost all your hours between commuting, office, returning, sleeping. Where's the time
Very
to
true.
spend
Very
with
true.
family?
Very
Okay.
true.
So obviously my family life wasn't exactly so balanced as any of both me and my partner or my son would have liked it. Okay, so I wish, as I went along, I thought I could be smarter with my learning and implementing of life skills. And where is my life skills coming from? My life skills were never taught to me. It is something that I picked as I went along through each of these experiences of career, life, loss, gain, whatever you say, right? So this is one. And if you look at I was successful from a flamboyant family life's perspective because I always believed in fulfilling all my family's needs, no matter what, even small need, big need, whatever they say. If it's affordable, I could do it. But it didn't make me financially so rich as I would have loved to. In the sense, financially independent. I'm talking financial independence. Yeah, because I always lived with a single income source, for instance. Now these are practicalities in today's life, which has changed. Once upon a time, if you married a job, you would have lived with that particular company forever. That was the times in my father's generation was like that.
Yes,
Even if you
correct.
go to all these MNCs outside India, most of those companies, people are loved. Lived their lifetime in their company because they were married to the organization, which is not the
Very
case
true.
anymore. Yeah, things, the dynamics of living, the dynamics of competition in the industry, the dynamics of changes in the way skills are coming up, the demand, the way the technology is changing the lives of businesses, the way you do business, the lifestyle of people, all this is changed. These dynamics are now changing.
Very
Now,
true. Very true.
therefore, I found myself probably, even if I was trying my best to change, I thought it's important that this, if it was given to people, it will make a lot of difference in their life. We have been always fed with very specific, don't do this, don't, that kind of thing. If we went into some foundational life skills and not just talk about only academics, like learning only physics, chemistry, biology, or on, those kind of things alone, and spend a little bit on some of the bare fundamentals that you need to live a proper life, would I have balanced my life better? Obviously. Yeah, I would have learned how to deal with my things a little bit better because I had the strength of foundational knowledge, and which is what we do in school. We think we put foundational knowledge of physics, chemistry, biology, or all those science subjects or art subjects, yeah, and believe that's what is going to help them in a job. How many times has it really helped in people's job if you take percentage, other than people who do research or intrinsically technical work? How much has it really helped people? Okay, does it mean it should be scrapped, or does it mean it should be moderated? So the same thing, if you did fundamental stuff for your life, it is going to really help you manage your life better. And all the areas I talked about, which is spiritual, I talk about 7 areas in home holistic. Okay, and these come from all my experiences, where I say, okay, if I had all these 7, I try to group them, all my experience in different areas. I said, oh, these 7 areas, if I had some foundational skills, wouldn't my life have become awesome? Okay, rather than I learned to make it awesome over a period of time. Okay, so yeah, so I talked about spiritual, financial, even before financial. After spiritual is the core, then your health, because you need to build your, if you don't have good health, you cannot do anything. So you need to be good with health. Yeah, then you need to good with relationship, within your family, within your society, maybe within your organization, with your peers, and so on. So, and then your community, or maybe the world, whatever. But you need relationships around this. You need to know how to engage with these people, right? So engaging relationship is very important. Then you come with career. Oh, what do I do? How do I earn my money? What are my financials? And then financials comes in. How much financials do I need? Is my career going to help me with my financials? And today, without financials, we do not live well. Because if we didn't know how to handle your financials today, it is a big challenge for you to manage your life without that. So that's very important. And then finally, I said, okay, that's all fine, but then come to personality and other things. You need basically lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is important, and I'll talk a little bit about lifestyle maybe as we go along, but right now, for just narrowing down it to the core question you asked, you
Sure.
come in also eventually to contribution, because at some point in time, I realized I am just a consumer. Every day I learn something, I learn something, I learn something. But how much am I giving? Is my giving commensurate and better than what I'm learning, or at least up to my learning? Am I doing that? How many people am I helping? Only within corporate I'm helping. People who are reporting to me or some of the things, people who work with me. But am I going beyond? So all those kind of things came together, and then I said, okay, this is the way of life. If I had foundational things, if everybody I could gain from those foundational skills, and you knew how to balance it, because all these are interrelated. It's not like you go only after health and forget your family life. You go only after career and forget your family, or you go only after family and forget your wealth. You know, all these are interrelated in life. That's the origin of my thinking about putting this together under a framework which I called as home holistic.
So yeah, that's a great explanation you have given, starting from the beginning till what it means actually, and how it, what are the things it covers actually, what are the area it covers. But you have talked about many things actually here. You have talked about the realization. When this realization came into your life, because you have going this obviously it came to you just recently, I suppose. But I mean, I wanted to know this when this realization came to your life.
Well, there are sometimes certain points in time when you get hit. You
Mhm.
have to get hit sometimes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, for the mistakes or your lack of awareness. It could be anything. It's not because you deliberately made them, but you had your lack of awareness is always what makes mistakes.
Very true, very true. So
Right?
is this the factor which is like which helped you realize that yeah, these are the things missing in my life and it can help others? Is it
Yeah.
something like that or
It is like that. So first, yeah, my more deeper introspection into the spiritual world came after I lost my son. I was a non-believer. I was an atheist kind of person who was very logical engineer. Of course, I was God-fearing, maybe I can say, but mostly, yeah, I never used to believe so many things. I needed evidence always. Okay, and from there it started, and my spiritual journey started from there. The cure I went through was what I call as past life regression. It's a very deep, profound way of handling what happened in your past. And as you go through it, you will overcome that with your learnings. You will have new learnings of why your past was like that. Okay, and with those learnings comes that light, the tube light, suddenly, the awareness that things have to be different and can be different. And why did it happen? So if you know why and you know how to the how will come because you will put in your attitude to change that. So for me, the loss of my son and the recovery, I lost my job in between. Okay, when I say lost job, it was not like I was, there are two or three things like this. The corporates have their own ways of what do you call, not because I fared badly in my job, but
Mhm.
because there were many transformations in the organizations. They do this massive revamp every now and then, and certain jobs get redundant. So now this is important from a career standpoint. How do you stay relevant to the corporate or to the organization you are? Now, not that I was not aware of this, I did that, but I never really thought it will come and hit me also, no matter.
Okay.
So while I was better skilled, I was confident. I misread the market though. The market, I was not ready for the market, or the market was not ready for me. It took a while before I could find my right job with my right level of where I could be a contributor at my right level. I couldn't go back, to a job which is maybe so much that I'm not learned. I mean, where it is again a primary. Can I start, back my career losing 10 years of experience? Probably I would not do that. So I didn't want to
So
get,
yes.
valued at a lower place, and then again wanting to find my way through all those difficult HR procedures as it existed then.
So, Pradeep, I just wanted to know, like this realization you got again. I'm just pulling this point from back that it is necessary that one has to be introspective. I mean, the spirituality has to be there in the work. You say in workplace, then this realization comes.
Yeah. So the home holistic 7 areas is all inclusive, whether it is at work or at home. It is your way of life. Okay,
Okay.
it can be even imbibed into business organizations as well in the
Mhm.
way you do it, because you are applying key areas, key dimensions for growth. Now, why is spirituality important? What is spirituality? Very often people connect it with just the
Mhm.
religious aspects. Very often people think spirituality is for the 60 plus people, because now, After 45, people say, it's good to get spiritual. After 60 years, you say, okay, now you're old enough, you have nothing else to do. You retire and just, become spiritual. So there are various misconceptions around this, I would say,
So this has
right?
to be the beginning of the career, or what do you say, Pradeep ji?
Because spiritual is about inner self and how you connect with the outer self
Okay.
externally. You got to know internally who you are. Who's going to give you that answer? Is your school teacher going to tell who you are? Or is it your parents who's going to tell you who you are? Or is it your boss in the organization who's going to tell who you are? Or is it your friend who's going to tell? Or are you going to say who you are? Who's going to say that?
So
So
it
one
has to
needs
be,
to know internally oneself, right?
yes, sir,
And that
introspect.
so that is a it is not just about introspection, it's about going deeper. And introspection
Okay.
is happening at a subconscious level, not just at a conscious level. The external factors is what keeps you in a conscious space. But when you do uh, it connects your when you do meditation, for instance, or you go
Mm-hmm.
deeper into those kind of things, you will connect with a deeper self,
Mm-hmm.
because now you're exploring your origin, you're
Mm-hmm.
exploring your purpose of life. You are doing it impartially without the effect of external influences. Yeah,
So
you are
Pradeep
being
ji,
honest to yourself.
okay,
Right.
that's great. That's great. Like very relevant things you have told, and it's very
So
important
it
for
is a
every.
start, and it is something that you should be actually doing fundamentally from early years, because that's the
Mm-hmm.
earliest and easiest and youngest time is when that is the age when it's easy to put that. And when you know your purpose, when you know what you want to be, when you know have your things,
Mm-hmm.
you're more internally conditioned to go
Mm-hmm.
after that in a more cluster free, less conflicting, no confusion model, which is otherwise the case because you have so many things today in today's world. You go to a supermarket, you buy 10 other things which you didn't choose to buy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So
That's how it
Pradeep
is.
ji, yes, very relevant to this only this question that how its impacts. Tell us about its impact. That one person getting like deep into it, he realized that these are the things actually with this with his or her life, and about particularly let's say holistic. Now, what it is impact? Tell us about its impact it can have in the professional and personal life. Specifically, more focused to professional life actually.
It's always about, you know, getting your foundation right. If your foundation is right for the house will live stably. If your foundation is bad, that house, despite all the fashionable things you might put in the ground in exteriors, it
Mm-hmm.
can easily fall down. Right now, that is the first benefit, you should say. Fundamentally, you will not get shaken up by anything in life. Isn't
So
that
like
awesome?
natural, okay. So like
Isn't
natural,
that awesome? Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. But this is supposed to like natural anything happenings. Is it you are talking about the anything natural happening like any death or any setbacks? Is it this you are referring to?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, typically today's world is all about, yeah, I get held in a traffic jam, I curse and come back.
Okay.
Right? So it could be those kind of things, from things like that to major things in life. I lost my job, or I lost money in my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm suffering health issues. Why do you suffer health issues? You suffer health issues more often than not. I would say I'm not a doctor, but 8 out of 10 times, every health issue is generated by ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
our not living with a biological cycle which is consistent, right? Our not taking the right kind of food habits,
So all this
our
encompasses the whole holistic, right?
yeah, our mindset, our what diet do you feed your mind? Worry, anxiety, stress. This is the kind of diet most people feed eventually. Something doesn't go well, immediately you're in stress.
Yes, very
Yeah.
true, very true.
So if you had to do that, you still needed foundational ways to address that. How do you keep a clutter-free mind? Now, let me give my example. I
Mm-hmm.
lost my son. Huh? It's not something that you always can take.
No, it's not a
People
small thing
take it in
actually.
different ways. People take it in different ways. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my learning helped me to overcome. And today, I see my son every day in the way he gave me love, the way he lived 15 years of his life. which was all enjoyable. So today when I sing, think about it, I don't cry. I I look at all the positive things, all the, and he gave only positive things, by the way, all the good memories. I'm conditioned. I'm conditioned today to think about all the lovely moments he gave even in 15 years of his life, which is amazing.
So this is possible
So
through home holistic.
yes. So what I'm trying to say is home holistic helps you with several 7 key dimensions. And knowing how to handle each dimension is a foundational skill. You have to work to get that skill. You have to learn that skill. And as you learn that skill, then you will take everything in the right balance. What is the use of having a career where you got rewarded with something extremely great, you can be proud of forever, but just knowing that at home somebody was suffering because you couldn't give time to them and they were cursing you because your commitment to them was that you would also take care of them. So
Very
what
true.
would be the benefit of, so that's not the balance I'm talking about. You do something extremely best there, because you're contributing there, but you're a zero contributor where you already set expectations, right? So you have to balance all aspects. And these 7 keys are the common denominator, I should say, are those minimum 7 things that you could think of, which
So the
will easily help you get to an awesome way of thinking. Awesome life is not about not getting setbacks. It's
yes,
about learning from setbacks, knowing why it's
yes.
happening to you, how
So
you
could
can
you
come
enumerate
out.
enumerate these 7 key areas in short, if you could? Could you enumerate this seven
Ah,
key
yeah.
areas?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, it starts with spiritual, which gives you the right insight about yourself and how you want to deal, how you want to live, okay, and how you condition your mind. Because what you think, what you imagine, what you visualize
We become yes,
is, and what you feel is what you will live eventually.
yes, yes. Very
That's
true.
what it, okay. It's
Very
also a
true.
law of attraction philosophy, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, true. Very
Okay.
true.
So this is one. So nothing. I didn't invent anything. Let me say that. All these are just putting together what is meaningful. Okay.
Assembling
And
all this.
second thing is about health. So your health is not just about physical, it's about mind also. So
Mind.
physical and mind and your external environment today is very important. If you
Yes.
spend all your day looking at mobile phones, trust me, you will have a health issue.
Yeah, very true.
Okay. Okay. Does that
Lifestyle
mean you
problem.
shouldn't look at mobile? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying to get the balance right. Right. So physical and your mind and your external factors together, COVID is an external factor, for instance,
Yes, yes,
together
very true.
determine your health. That's as simple as that. And if you watch that, your body gives you the right symptoms upfront to tell you something is wrong with you.
Yes,
There
yes,
are no silent killers. It's just because you are not mindful of noticing what's happening inside you and your body that you fail to notice it in time. And body has immense self-healing capabilities if you rectified it before you go to a doctor.
true, true,
Okay.
true. If
Okay.
we
So
don't take
that's health.
prevention, there is a problem actually.
The second is health.
Yeah, yeah, true.
And the third one is relationship. Because without relationship, man is a social animal. Do you think you can live inside a closed room forever?
No, 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 it's not possible actually.
So you need relationship. Everything is
Yes.
relative. Not just with people, it's with animals, all living beings, even non-living beings. How do you relate to things around your house? How do you relate to your car, maybe? Do you love it? Or do you say, oh, I'm always paying this EMI. I don't know when it will be ending. I'm not enjoying my car. What's the use of buying that car? Right? So it's everything. You have to relate with everything in life and be grateful. Okay. The fourth one is all about then converting and making it a career. You want a career as well, right?
Yes,
and
very
and
important.
then you talk when you have career, then you know how to handle you need to know how to handle your wealth even if you have a career.
True, very true.
That's the fifth one. The sixth
And
one is having a lifestyle which is true to yourself. A lifestyle, a personality is many things by the by. Yeah? There are many things I'll talk about that. But personality, how you wish to be seen in the world, is all about lifestyle. And how do you live healthy, holistic, influential? So that's lifestyle, and you need that. It's not about showing off. Oh, I have this kind of a thing, or I have that kind of a thing. It's about enjoying. How you want to enjoy life.
Very
And
true.
then the last one is about contribution, because even after all this, you ask people what gives you happiness. I think majority of surveys showed people said, I need to give something, I need to make people happy. When I give and make people happy for something or the other, which is useful to them, which is valuable to them, then I feel satisfied, then I feel fulfilled, then I feel, I'm good.
Very true.
Right? So contribution, which matters, is
Yes.
very important. Whether it's small, whether it's big, is not the criteria.
Very
Contribution
true. Very true.
matters. And these 7 are important ingredients which help you to make an awesome life,
Very
which is
true.
under holistic.
Very true. Very true. So Pradeep ji, my next question, which is related, highly related with this only, that it's on student actually. So how this home holistic can be is a contribution, can be contribute in students building personality, students personality, how student personality can be formed with the help of home holistic, and how,
Okay.
or the other part is also there,
Go
how
ahead.
it
Go ahead.
can be, how it can be integrated with the current personality of the college, because again all of a sudden changing a personality is not a possible actually. So how it can be integrated if possible with the current personality whatever they are having, with the, particularly to college students and all, because they are in the formative years of their life, and what are its future benefits.
Very, very interesting question. And you will always wonder, what is the contribution of personality? So I need to connect, like I told you, nothing is a silo. Some things are
Yes.
connected. Okay. So personality is also like that. Personality is a combination of who you are
Mm-hmm.
and what you want the world to see about who you are. That's a simple definition from my perspective.
Very true. Very
Okay, it's
true.
not a dictionary, I don't know, but for me, experientially, I'll define it this way. Yeah. So who you are comes from your spiritual inclination. If you really spend time about yourself, you know who you are. Then the question is, how do you want others to see about you? Now, let's say you're a hypocrite, let's say, and we often play this, we either overplay or underplay. Some people want to showcase something more than what they are differently. They want to say, no, I want the world to know me only like this. I don't want them to know about this. So we always do some masking very often, right? It's all right because you don't want to wash dirty linen in front of the public. Yeah. You come through many things, good, bad, ugly, all learnings come through your life, which is
Very
fine.
true.
But now, when you come out your personality, you don't have to say everything every day. That's not makes your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personality is about what it did to you. What did you get as your learnings out of that, right? And now, what you are at any point in time, who you are, what you are. Now, if you don't do that, you are an hypocrite.
Very true.
Happens because, and it surfaces. People will not trust you. A good personality is important when it is a true reflection of yourself and it builds trust. So, is trust an important thing in your life?
Very,
Oh,
very
bias,
important.
it is the most important, one of the most important things. Without trust, you get no relationship.
Very true.
Yeah,
Very,
you
very
get,
true.
you get only buy and sell relationship, but even there you need trust, if you ask me. So without trust, nothing happens.
In
So
fact,
that's the first thing. Be true to yourself and showcase what you are. Be in sync with what you are, and it starts showing up. If not, it doesn't. If it does not done, also it will start showing up. So this is one important thing. You don't overplay it. Don't
I,
underplay it. Also, there are many people who are subdued. I used to be an introvert, so nobody knew who I am. They'll be keeping on guessing. Pradeep must be thinking this, or Pradeep must be thinking that. They're not outspoken. I'm not telling what's on my mind, right?
yes,
And
yes,
sometimes,
very true.
so you don't downplay it because, in a way, you are again showing a kind of timidity by
Mm-hmm.
not expressing. It's good
Yes,
to
yes, yes,
think,
yes.
it's good to process, it's good to be even last who speaks. All that is fine. It's good. It's not a problem being an introvert, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to be open and talk about who you are, or it becomes grossly underplayed. You just become another non-living thing sitting there, just being there. Okay.
Very true,
Okay.
very
For,
true. It's
for
very
other
true.
people, it is like that. They will never consider you. So if you want to
Yes, yes,
show,
yes.
if you want to
Mm-hmm.
contribute, if you want to do something, you have to be
Yes,
open
yes, yes.
about it.
Very true.
So
Actually,
personality is also about several other things. Personality is
mm-hmm.
also a way of conducting. How,
Yes.
if you enter a room, how many people would love to see you? Is there a
Mm-hmm.
charm? Is there a something that you bring into the room with your energy? If you're not, think about it, how it
Very
would
true.
look like. Yeah, so that's another thing. It's also about courtesy. How do you conduct yourself? Behavior is primary on personality. Do
Very
you do
true.
you help? Do you politely engage? Are you kind enough to put a chair for a person to sit down, for instance? Yeah, are you opening the door? So there is courtesy, there is good
Courtesy.
manners, there are good habits. Being mindful is very important in a personality, which means you know the situation and you're mindful about people around you. So all this connect to make a personality, and then there is a lifestyle part of it. The way you dress, the way you conduct yourself is a reflection of your personality. If I dress shabby and talk about cleanliness, how does it look?
No, no,
If I am shabby and I come into a room, would you like to be sitting next to me?
no.
It
List.
won't. Yeah, you would not. Not because you're not a human being, but just because, yeah, you like to be in clean environments. Let's say you like to be clean.
Very true.
Let's say
Very
you
true.
want to be hygienic is a better word rather than clean.
Yes.
You want to be hygienic. So if someone is
Hygienic.
uncouth or unhygienic, it does affect you. Yeah, it's about health, mutual health. So in my view, you have to develop a personality which is true to yourself. You have to develop a personality which covers many habits and behavior, which is sensitive to the people whom you're interacting with and in the environment that you are in the environment you are in. It has to be, you need to build your own niche around yourself, saying you're unique, your story is unique, you
Mm-hmm.
are unique. Remember that there is
Very
something
true.
different about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, none of us can become each other. Can we swap our lives and suddenly become somebody?
No, no,
We
no,
are
no. We
not
can't. We can't. We
robots.
can't.
We are not that kind of a programmed intelligence body. We are different. We are humans.
Very
And
true.
therefore, personality has a great, great impact in setting up the right impressions, in setting up the right atmosphere for engagement,
Mm-hmm.
and also great relationships, and also great ways your contributions start coming in. Because now you want to engage, your engagements happen. And with
Mm-hmm.
that, more things happen, right?
Very
So
true.
I think that's the way to look at personality rather than stay confined. Okay, I dressed up with a coat and went for the interview, but I didn't get the job. No, that's not personality. Personality is how you reflect about yourself. So spend time. My advice to my more than advice, I would say, really, yeah, my seek or my ask or the way I would look at is, you know do the introspection, be spiritual, know yourself, get to
Mm-hmm.
things that are important in each environment. In a job environment, you're different. Yeah, in a society, you're different. At home, you're different in the way of the environment and the people around it. So the expectations are different. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to be a hypocrite. You still have to be original. Yeah, you're just
Yes, yes.
transforming yourself to the needs and the ambience that is needed in that particular thing, and that personality you keep. For careers, personality is very important because it is the basis of how organization trusts you. It is the basis of how you will make an engagement and a mark in the organization. In
Very true.
interviews, for instance, it's all about showing that your personality is something that you guys will like and seek, and is what is most suited for the organization. That is the feel people should get in that organization when you go for an interview, right? And you should actually enjoy it too. Otherwise, it'll
Yeah.
stick out again. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
My view around how this is, and this is what is brought even in home holistic. Personality is covered in depth in lifestyle area.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's a great advice actually for everybody, for all the students actually, college students, or it can be a starter, the early career professional. It's a great advice for them that personality is very important, and home holistic can be integrated at whatever level they are, and it can be a part of their life actually to have a fulfilling career and like very good relationships and all the seven areas of their life basically.
Indeed, because
So,
you're interdependent. At the end
yes,
of the
yes,
day,
yes.
never think, oh, how I dress, how does it matter? For instance, okay, how does it
Very
matter?
true.
Yeah,
Very true.
because
Very true.
I know myself. That's good enough. I know my knowledge is good for this job. I'm fine with that, and I go in. But how do the others know about it?
Very
Secondly,
true.
I mean, your one element still is not in line with what they need. So you have to figure out whether you want to be with them or you don't want to be with them. That's your personal choice. The kind of ambience you want to be in is your personal choice.
Very true. Very true. So my next question, Pradeep ji, is that it's related to career actually. So this Om holistic, how does this Om holistic helps in career transformation? So career transformation for anybody for early career or mid career or maybe the college students who is just about to start their career. So how does it help in career transformation, particularly this area of life? Out of 7 areas, this career, how it can help in transformation? Please.
So when you say career transformation, let me ask, yeah, what situation are you talking about so I can connect it accordingly? Because career transformation is a big word for me. Big word
Yeah.
because it means sometimes a career A for me, which let's say I'm
So
in
what I mean is that how a person can like upgrade their career from one level to the other level, one stage to the other stage. Yes.
okay, so it's all about career planning and career growth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, uh, holistic in a way is a mindset, right?
Yes.
It's also a habit. It's an awareness. It is a mindset. It
Mm-hmm.
is a habit.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are many other things centering around those areas. So you have to have all of this, correct?
Very true.
So if you have to look at a career plan, you need to have a career plan. That's the logical part, having a
Yes.
career plan. What is your dream career? Now, there was a time when people said, no, you should plan 20 years from now. You should plan 10 years from now what you would look like. And that those days I used to remember and saying, oh, I need to be a manager in the organization. Then another time I said, no, I need to be a general manager in the organization. Then I said, no, I need to be a VP in the organization. Okay, no, I want to be a managing director. Now, is that a career progression of roles that you're looking at? What is career progression? Is it a progression of roles?
Okay, you're
Or,
asking me. Okay.
I'm putting a question for people to think about,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
isn't it? Because you're asking me, how is it connected with transformation, career transformation? So if you're building a career roadmap, you have to ask these questions. Is that what I'm looking for? Or when I talk about career,
Mm-hmm.
this is the space I like to learn.
Okay.
This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to learn and contribute, because it's about contribution. You're not hired to show your learning. You're hired to contribute something to the organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very true.
So, what area do I want to contribute? How does that area look like 2 years from now? What is the strategic view? What are the thinkers and the big guys who know more about it, let's say, or who have been working on it, or been researching on it, or the saying about this? How did the internet come, for instance, right? Then you can say, oh, from internet it went to bigger things, right? You're now into artificial intelligence. You're looking smarter ways of living with analytics and devices that help you with IoT, Internet of Things, and all those kind of things. Now each step is a futuristic thought. It
Very
comes,
true.
yeah. Now you need to, when you look at career transformation, you need to figure out what space you want to be in,
Mm-hmm.
because your skill sets matter. That's the place you have to grow the skills. If you didn't have skills, you cannot get into certain areas.
Very
And
true. Very true.
you cannot build skills without a liking for it. You must love it. Otherwise, it is like all the exams that you wrote. I used to get 100% marks in Sanskrit. Know why?
Wow.
Not because I learned the language. I just by hearted all the questions that the question bank gave me from my teacher. So I used to get it. Yeah. Not just me, many people in my class got 100 marks in Sanskrit. Does it make you a
Very
Sanskrit?
true. Very true.
No.
Yes. Yes.
So I am
Even I
trying to
come
tell
from
you,
that time.
and my message is that you need to like it. then that's your passion. So choose wisely, look for your passion. There is today's world, you can drive any passion home. That's the beauty of how things have evolved in this world. This wasn't the case 25 years, 30 years ago when I started my career, 30 years ago. Okay. Today you can make anything successful. You could do it earlier also, but that needed a lot more effort. You needed to be really lucky too, because there was a bigger transformation needed, not just for you, but across society. Now across the industry. Today you can do anything. Yeah, that's the way it is. You can do anything, be good at it, still make a great living. So your passion is realizable. So choose the right passion. Follow your passion, choose the right area which you want to. Look at what's coming up in this area and figure out what level of skills you can start with or what you have today. Look at what are the areas of skill that you don't have, which is the gap.
Yes.
Have a learning path to get those skills, and the opportunities either you will create or somebody will need it from you to contribute, and that makes your career. So this is the career transformation roadmap which I personally would
Wow.
advocate for you.
Wow, wow. That's a great advice actually. A lot of people who are watching this show right now live. So it's a great advice actually for them, how they can navigate their career actually.
Money
So
will come. Don't jump careers for money. I've seen people switching jobs for money. The problem is it's nothing wrong with that aspiration. Let me tell you that. There's nothing wrong with a financial aspiration. The problem is it will saturate very quickly.
very
It
true.
will saturate very quickly. You're not learning anything new in the process sufficiently to be able to make a bigger innings out of it, and therefore you will do it. And the other things will come, because when you're interested, you will start collaborating, you will find. And yeah, that's the other thing I want to say. Don't compete. A lot
Very
of people
true, very true.
compete with each other. The
Competition
corporate
is too
world is
high.
often about huge competition.
Use competition, true, very true.
People to people compete. And I say this world is changing dramatically. Understand that we are looking at collaboration. We are looking
Yes,
at complementing.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the other day, one of our mentors who was talking was saying the same thing, right? He said, me and my wife have no connection in terms of our thought process, the way we are inclined to think. If I talk about A, she will talk about Z, and that kind of pulls apart our ways of thinking. But we
very true.
complement each other. When we sit back to back, we get a 360-degree view, because my 180 degrees and her 180 degrees blend to
Combines
give us
together.
both a 360. So don't compete. If you're competing, that's only for benchmarking reasons, for making sure where you stand on a particular area and how you can be a significant. What is you need to know the industry. You need to know your level, and you need to know how much you can go. If I'm going for Olympics, I need to know what is the highest record. I can't say I'm not competing, so I'm happy with taking 1 hour
That
for
that one
100
do.
meter race.
That one do.
Say that, right? So if your goal is Olympics, you definitely. But competition is not about putting down somebody. Competition is not about always comparing with that somebody. Competition about how much are you improving yourself.
Self comparison actually.
Yeah,
Comparison
keep
with self.
improving. Know your benchmark. Say this is not enough. If I need to be an Olympic winner,
Very
somebody has
true.
already said this, and get inspired instead. Hey, somebody can do this. I can also do this.
Yeah, yeah. This can be an inspiration for many people, and they should take this as an inspiration. If they can do, then I can also do. This kind of mindset they should have. Everybody should have actually. So very true. You have like very nicely you have put light on all these things. Thank you so much for this. One more question is there with me that is this like home holistic personality? You talked about the home holistic. You talked about the personality, and you also talked about the interest, and this career. Like home holistic personality combined interest and career. Is this aligned?
Well, like I said, it is. All of this, the personality is part of one of those areas, right? So it's connected. Now, if you look at interest is your passion, right? Interest comes from your deepest
Passions.
thoughts of about yourself, what you like, how you connect the external world with your internal
Very
ask.
true.
Yeah, not everybody is interested in pursuing music. Will everybody be interested in pursuing music
No, 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 no.
as a passion? No, it is not. So everybody has their own areas of liking. right? it
Mm-hmm. Very
is
true.
it is part of your DNA with what you get born. If you
Mm-hmm.
ask me, something is there inside you, which
Mm-hmm.
which you need to maybe look at it from a very spiritual angle, and that is what drives many times our likes and dislikes,
Mm-hmm.
not just the external world. Because the external world, we are all listening to music. Does everybody go for music? No.
No, no.
So the same thing, right? So that is the interest. So you need to connect the interest. You need to
Mm-hmm.
connect. You said one more thing. You talked about interest. You talked about
Career, interest, career, and holistic personality.
yeah. So the personality is basically, like I said, it's something about how you want to showcase yourself in a career journey. How do you
Mm-hmm.
want to showcase yourself? Do you want to showcase yourself as a contributor? Do you want to showcase yourself as someone with ABC kind of things, which you know, which are aware? How are you going to showcase yourself? How will it reflect on your personality? Are you a go-getter? People talk about soft skills. Are you a go-getter? People say, I want a go-getter in my company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people say, okay, why do you want money? Why do you want a go-getter? Because I don't have time to train every day. Yeah, I need someone who has the inclination, who has the passion, who thinks this job is not working for me, but this job is important for the company, for its customers, for the
Yes,
people, for the
very true.
employees, etc. When somebody thinks like that, and then he will, or that person will, he or she will already take care of all the things that need to be done. If you are
Mm-hmm. Very
hungry
true.
at home, will you always wait only for someone to go and cook at your
No,
home?
no, no, no,
You
no.
can cook it yourself too. You can help serve
Yes.
it to others. So it's
Mm-hmm.
about responsibility and accountability that you build.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Mm-hmm.
that is the underlying thing which connects all these things, and that
Mm-hmm.
comes from a clear use of all these seven key areas, and not just the personality piece. Personality is the way it surfaces, how you showcase, how you brand, those kind of things in a career. You need to have a branding also. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Very
So
true.
that tells you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very true. Very
if
true.
you
So one
connect
more.
that, you will get the picture which helps you with the
Mm-hmm.
career
Mm-hmm.
and
So
go up.
very related to this, one more is that like, yeah, it's almost like you have given a very good, light on all the aspect of the personality, the holistic seven key areas actually. One last question from this actually, I wanted to ask you that what specific advice, career advice, or any kind of advice you'd like to give to the young college grad who is about to start their career.
So I think if you can always think about personality, but I think what you need to do is look at it very foundationally, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
So specific advice is about don't go and jump into anything that comes your way for the heck of it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and say
yes.
I would not advocate that. I
Mm-hmm.
would say be clear. Try to get that clarity of where you want. Now, if you struggle with clarity, go to people who
Mm-hmm.
can be your mentors or gurus or coaches, or different ways you can get it. I would
Mm-hmm.
suggest uh, that doesn't mean you simply have to eyes closed listen and take an order. No, it's all about knowing yourself better with the support of those people, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what is important in certain things. I still uh, yeah, I never had a mentor. Yeah, when I was at that age, I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anybody. It was all
Yeah.
finding out yourself. Today you
Mm-hmm.
have enough. So the problem is you shouldn't get in the trap of overdose of information. So that is
Very
why
true.
very often a good mentor can help you there, or a good coach can help you, or a good career counselor can also help you to some extent.
Very true.
But I think career counselors very often in the market I find is more specific about what certain jobs will do, and that's it. And they are trying to fill in some positions very often. So you need to be very clear with who you're going to in such kind of cases. Because career counseling should go into deeper things as to saying what do you want to do in life, where do you want to go. It should start with that, and then say, okay, what have you done so far? Do you have the right skills in the market today? If you don't, yeah, then
Mm-hmm.
you have to build that skill. You have to learn something. Yeah,
Very true.
so that's important. And today there are many ways to get that done also.
Mm-hmm.
People are, if you look at the so many we have the startup fever now. So many startups are there. They'll be only happy for you to go and do some work for them, as a
Mm-hmm.
trainee. They may not pay you as per your aspirations for day one,
Mm-hmm.
but until you get a better one, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, yeah, which matches, you can learn a lot of skills.
Yes, very
So that's one way. I'm just giving you an example, right? So my advice is start with something that is predominantly in the area of your interest, or be prepared to build that skill which you do. Let's say I am forced to start with some job that came my way which is not my interest, but I'm desperate for money because my financial status is poor, let's say, and I really need that money in my family. There are many people like that too. So I
very
start with it, and I know that I don't have skills,
true.
or maybe I didn't come from an environment where I have so much of knowledge and polished awareness that I can walk into an MNC and they will take you from day one. Maybe I don't have it. So where do I start? Will always be the question. Can I take the job of whatever comes my way? Certainly you can. My answer is certainly you should. If that's your
Yes.
condition, then needs are more important. Need is more important than want. It's
Yes,
something
very
that is
true.
very fundamental for you. But does it end there is what you have to think,
No.
which means you have a life to go further forward. Okay. Sitting in that, are you using all your time effectively towards your goal? Have you identified where you want to be? And
Very
work towards that, either by taking additional responsibilities in that organization, work towards that either by picking up the skills that you need from
very
outside,
important.
from the environment, from the world. Today there is so many ways to gain that. Do that. Okay, start doing something. It means, yeah, boiling your time. You need to spend a lot of time for that. Agreed. It
Very
means at that age you shouldn't worry, in my view. At a young age, God has given you enough of energy, enough of health. Go after it. Learn and align yourself to the role that you want. And it is in no time. Practice some of these things. According to me, the holistic ways. If it was a curriculum that was largely available across everywhere, I would have simply advocated. I'm not trying to say this to promote or anything, this thing. I am saying this because, from my experience, I feel, you would have got that kind of stability and the right mindset and the right motivation and the right way to figure out how to go about all these things. And therefore, when you start your life, not just the career, you will start balancing everything out. Unless you balance things out, how will you pursue a career very effectively? Unless you want to let go of everything else. I don't care what my family is. I don't care what my this thing is. No, I don't care about my relationship. I'll only go for my career. It is my only choice right now. Think about it. Yeah,
very true.
especially
Very, very
youngsters,
important.
people who already started, for example, a family life, right? Why did you start a family life if you don't have time for your family? Think
Very
about
true.
it.
It's a very
Yeah.
important question.
So you need to balance, and therefore sometimes the balancing knowledge around this helps you with focusing on your career. Are you saying you need to work 24 hours? Certainly no. There are ways and means. There are today resourcefulness methodologies, people who practice and share about how you can be resourceful. People talk about productivity, so many things. Now you have to learn, adapt, habitualize. Habit is very important. Forming habits is very, very important, and managing your time is very important. How
Very
do you
true.
manage? You managing your time is all about managing your time to your set goals, and your
Yes.
goals has to be across, because I will not be able to focus on my career
Very
as much
true.
as I like if somebody in my family is going to suffer,
Very true. Very true. Very
right?
important.
Or
Yes.
yeah. So if so, that career is of no use. After some time, I will not focus. Maybe for
Yes.
3 months I am very good, 6 months I am good, 1 year I am
Mm.
good, but after that, there's something else that's happening. It's at the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very true.
that will not help you to give your best. So it needs techniques, it needs mindfulness, and when you do that together, you will get a better way to move forward. So do pursue your ambitions, even if you start in the wrong place. You can build the skills. Larger organizations, always many organizations give you the opportunity. Today people are becoming wiser. They allow you to rotate and move to other jobs of
Yeah.
your aspiration in due course. So if that works for you, you should try that as well and move in. If not, find the right place, build the right skills, find the right place, and move on to a career which you like.
Thank you, Pradeep. You have given very details instruction, details advice for everybody who is about to start their career. Thank you for this actually, and you have rightly mentioned that they should not move on to like a very brightful fancy thing. They should look for the not for the money, but they should look for the learning part. Actually, we mentioned here this one that they should first give importance to learning. Whatever opportunities come in their way, they should grab it. It's not only just keep waiting for the good thing. Good things will eventually comes. So thank you for this. It's a very important thing that all students should know. All whoever wants to start their career. Thank you so much, Pradeep ji. And now I would like to move on to the rapid round. Actually, this is a round where there are few sets of questions are there, like 8 questions are there, and I expect that a short self-explanatory answers if you get then much better for us in the interest of time actually.
Sure.
So yeah, so the first question starts with like what are your favorite like interest, your favorite pastime, and what do you do in your free times in your pastime?
I do lots of things, but predominantly I should say I like music. So I create I music or I sing. Uh, I'm also an avid reader and listener to many things. So I do watch purposeful things in social media, not things which add up value to what I'm doing, and not anything and everything. So that's what I do usually. I like long drives too with family.
Mhm. So what's your favorite book and which book do you recommend to other people, especially students?
Any you should, that's a difficult one for me actually, but I probably because being a holistic person, I keep looking at all topics. So the many books that I read, but maybe the one that stands out to me, which is life changing in terms of bringing me to a different course of life, is Many Lives, Many Masters. It is a so there are many self development books. I'm not talking about that. This is about an experiential thing written by Dr. Brian Weiss.
Mhm.
Okay, now it is all about past life regression. It is a very different experience altogether. Uh, I don't think there will be many people who would have had that, by the by. Very few people would have had that. I have personally experienced that for myself and my family. And it is one of the very what do you call it, profound way of looking at things, and it's also a healing therapy option, by the by. Past life regression therapy exists as well.
Mhm.
So that's a book that really influenced me. It changed my way of looking at things
So yeah,
in life.
thank you. So are you an early bird or you are a night owl? Like I mean, if you are an early bird, what motivates you wake up early morning?
I would prefer to see myself as a early bird. I
Okay.
don't. I dislike working too late hours usually. Though it's not that I've not done it, but probably it's still an 80-20 for me. There are still days I am a night bird, but 80% I'm an early bird.
Okay. So what motivates you actually to wake up early morning?
Well, a good night rest and a good sleeping practice, good winding down practice helps me
Okay.
to think of the next day with a very positive
Mm-hmm.
mindset. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's great. So what's
definitely.
the biggest challenge you have ever faced in your life? Biggest challenge you have ever faced in your life?
I would say personally, it's the overcoming my loss of my son was one of the biggest challenge, and it was life changing for me.
What is your one thing you learned over 3 decades of your experience and career? And yeah, so what's that one thing that you learned over 3 decades of your career?
In a career, I think it's always about growth mindset. That's what allowed me to build a career from day one till now. You have to be curious, you have to learn, and you should contribute. All these are essential components of growth. So growth mindset is the key.
So who's your ideal person actually? Ideal person or the yeah, ideal person?
Okay, I don't. I think again, it's hard to find idealism in all the dimensions that you look for. Actually, in one person, it's very hard for me. So I have many, many ideal people, but I should say that I used to follow Swami Vivekananda a lot.
What's the best
Now
advice
it
you have
is.
ever got?
Now I would say it is whoever is the most recent influencer. So people like Dave Gadby and all are great influencers in the way things are done today. So that's also there.
Mhm. Wow. So what's the best advice ever you have got? The best advice you have ever got in your life?
Okay, I think the giver mindset is what I would say is the best advice. Don't get too attached to outcomes. You
Mhm.
stay with the process. Okay, because if you get too attached to outcomes, it can disappoint you, or it
Mhm.
can change, and it can disappoint you. Sometimes it will put you on a pedestal where you think you're so supreme that it's difficult for you to come down, but life will have its own thought. So I think giving mindset, love the way the life comes, enjoy the process of life the way it comes, uh, and love the universe. Be grateful and appreciative. Those are the
Wow,
advice. Yeah.
wow, that's a great. Last questions. You have an option to have dinner with four person only. Now, who will be on the invite list?
Oh God, that's very difficult. I should think. Yeah, you're talking about maybe an exceptional situation where I would like to
Yeah, yeah, it
bring
can
more
be any
people.
of your choice, whom you wanted to invite in that party. Four people
Okay.
in the world.
Okay. I think. Firstly, one of my best mentors in my career, Nick Mankiewicz. Okay, he stays in the U.S. and he's got the best out of me with the way he coached me and mentored me. So I would really uh, invite him. I need a contemporary spiritualist, and the name that comes in my mind is Vishal Lakhani. He is part of the Mind Valley. He founded the Mind Valley, and he raises and does a lot of work around human consciousness. So I like the way a lot of experiments that and the various experiential things he's bringing.
Yes, yes.
It is pretty much aligned with my pursuit as well. I
Mhm.
would like to bring some celebrity just so that I get some publicity. So I can revel in their presence. So maybe somebody like Amitabh Bachchan, if it is in India, I would think, right? Or maybe the Prime Minister himself.
Wow.
And last but not least, I'd probably bring Dr. Brian Weiss because the depth of what he's gone into in terms of what goes into life spiritually, all those things, in my experience. I think I'll enjoy a dinner with these four people. It'll be quite exciting to blend all these topics together.
Wow. It was like that's the end of the questions. Actually, the part is over. The whole thing is over. Now, thank you so much for this. It was a very like enriching moment. It was very learning, very validation moment. You have answered each and every topic, every areas of home holistic as well as students' personality as well as their interest, their career, and everything starting from your background till your mid-career till you reach your apex and then moving on to the home holistic its areas, how it impacts the people's life, how it can have a fulfilling life and everything. You have put a light on all the areas so that people benefit of it. So viewers, I would like to also mention one thing that Pradeep Singh has also written a book and the book name is and the book, could you name the book yourself because it will be much better, people can remember from you.
Well, it's a long title though. Transform your outsome life. Ouch, some is painful, basically, outsome life to an awesome life.
Wow.
Okay.
So this is the book actually I have read myself and it's very nice book. I have read almost the important part I have read almost 80% I have read and it's very nice. It's very experiential learning and there is a lot of practicals are there. So a lot of activities are there which you will love to do and which you will like it. So you can connect to Pradeep ji. I'll put some details on my description in the YouTube so that you can connect to him and you can get any kind of like he used to do mentoring and coaching and all. So you can get help from him and it is really going to be very mesmerizing session, mesmerizing with him. He is a very great man. I know him personally because I have been with him for the past 6 7 months. So he is a great personality, by the way. So that's all for today. Viewers will be coming in next Wednesday again, same time with another personality who will be sharing their own challenges, learning, success, failures here with you, so that you get more value addition here. So stay tuned. Till then, bye bye. Take care.
Thank you very much. It was great to be on the show and talking to you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you for the.
Pradeep. Thank you so much.
I wish you a wonderful